and welcome back to Across the Line. My name is Beth, and in this video Ollie attempts to drive around the Miami circuit and I attempt to commentate on it. First up, we have some qualifying laps from Ollie. He is playing obviously as Sergio Perez in the F122 version of the Red Bull. Ollie has recently purchased a wheel and pedals, so this was his first attempt at a proper, well, half a Grand Prix, so yeah. It is no secret that Ollie is far better at me by playing this game, which is why I'm not even attempting to play, which is why you're watching Ollie play at the same time. As you may have just heard, it is raining currently during qualifying, hence why everyone's on wet tyres, but apparently it's going to get lighter. Ollie has already set fastest sector 1 and he takes fastest sector 2 as well. Although Ollie did do all of qualifying, this is just his final lap in Q3 and he sets the fastest time, which means he places on pole position.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon and Verstappen, Magnussen, Norris, Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Gasly, Albon, Joe, Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll. They've taken a grid penalty. Latifi and Mick Schumacher. That's it then, it's...
Alright, and off they go. I would make some comment about slight set away we go, but I'm going to leave that to Crofty. Okay, so here we go. George Russell coming around this corner. George Russell overtakes Ollie. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle here with Carlos Sainz. Carlos edging out in front, but Ollie just regains his position. George Russell is now storming ahead. Pogchamp. Ollie is now just playing catch up to George Russell. Whilst watching it, I'm just thinking about the Miami track itself. I mean, I believe it's a street circuit. It is a street circuit. I don't hate the Miami circuit. It's a decent enough circuit as it is. I mean, last year it caused so much drama with the Ferrari squad, so I'm a little bit put out by that. But apart from that, I mean, I love the Miami weekend itself. I love the vibes. And just like the opening ceremony as well from last year, there's something about the American opening ceremonies that really, I don't know, they're just something different. They're very entertaining. I'm not sure if all of the drivers are entertained, but I certainly am. Okay, here we go. Ollie has... Ooh, he's making a move on George. Retakes his position, but then loses it again. But then retakes it again. So Ollie is now back in front of George Russell. This is lap 4 of the race currently. Ollie is now leading, which is fun. Doing very well. Ollie has put in a fastest sector 2, and he's also currently got fastest laps. Currently on hards. I think most of the NPCs are also on hards as well. The rain has stopped. Oh dear. Ollie has spun out. Lap 10. He's not gone into the wall, he's just spun out, caused a cautionary yellow flag, but he's easily reverses and resumes racing. That wasn't too bad of a spin, to be honest. I have done far worse than that. And he regained, and it made not much effect. He's still in first. George Russell is still currently 0.2 seconds behind him, so he is gaining, but I think the time keeps fluctuating. But Ollie is currently in a decent enough position, decent enough advantage. Not decent enough position. Ollie is currently first, decent enough advantage of George Russell, doing well. Whilst Ollie confidently leads out in the front, let's just talk a bit more about the Miami Grand Prix. So it first started in 2022. The lap in real life has 57 laps. Ollie's only doing a half-ish race, which is why he's doing 29 laps. The circuit length is 5.412 kilometres, and the lap record is 1 minute 29.7 seconds, currently held by Max Verstappen from last year's race in 2023. Okay, it's lap 12, and Ollie's got really good advantage right now. As you can see, George Russell's dropped out of the DRS zone. He's over a second behind, which means he's no longer in a position to gain DRS on him. Some more Miami facts for you. This track has 19 corners, 3 straights, and 3 DRS zones. The Miami Grand Prix weekend has officially started whilst I'm recording this, and I love the vibes of it. I mean, they have what looks like, I don't think it's inflatable, I don't know what it's made of, but maybe you can find a picture. The Mercedes car, I believe, in a fountain? I don't know. I want to know who's the designer. Who comes up with these designs? That's what I want to know. Lap 14, Ollie's just continuing to draw out the distance between him and George. Currently it's sitting at a 2.3 second gap. Jumping now to lap 18, and you can hear that Alonso is 19.1 seconds behind. At this point, Ollie hasn't pitted, which probably explains why he's so far in front. But as you can probably see by his timing, his tyres are degrading. And this is lap 18. We have another spin out for Ollie, another cautionary yellow flag, but again, easily resumes. Everything's fine. He's so far ahead. He had time to spare with that one. I'm gonna read you that point about degrading tyres because it might. Yeah. As you can see by Ollie's lap time, he's putting in worse and worse lap times as his tyres are very much degrading, which means he needs to pit. Lap 18/lap 19, Ollie has pitted and he has gone on to the medium tyres, which means he's chill to just run out the rest of his race.
Look after these tyres now, we want to finish the race on this compound.
Coming out of the pits, he's only fallen down to 4th, which isn't too bad, behind Russell, Verstappen and Alonso. Still though, holds the fastest lap. already gaining position and very quickly caught up to George Russell. He's now just sort of playing a bit of cat and mouse with him. Max is close to George as well. When I first watched this was a very tense moment for me. I was very much rooting Ollie on. I really wanted him to do well because I'm a good friend like that. There we go. He's gained position back. He's overtaken Max. He's now in second place. Very close to George. Only 0.6 seconds behind. Here we go. Great battle between these two. Bit of gaining position, losing position, but ultimately Ollie comes out on top, regains his position, leads first, leads the race.
hard now. He's put in the fastest lap of the race.
And then he loses it again, and George Russell is back out the front. Didn't last very long. But all was well, because Ollie retakes that position. Great battle going on there between these two, I must admit. Lap 26, Russell storms back past Ollie. Not doing so well this lap times either. They're all turning out red, but it's fine. But he's doing having a great battle with George Russell, until of course he spins out and hits the wall dramatically, and has this really awkward shuffle to get back in, and he loses position. It's back into third. Not a great ending. Back down into fourth now. Behind Daniel Ricciardo, back into fifth. Behind Lando Norris. That crash in the wall really did him over. Wasn't very smart on him. He meant to be avoiding the walls. To be honest, I can't really say much. I'm hideous at this game. I'd be in the wall constantly, so only going in once is quite impressive actually by my standards. It's all good. Nothing to fear though. Quickly catches up to the two McLaren drivers at the time and overtakes them pretty smoothly, I would say. Gets past Lando, gets past Ricciardo, back up into third, now chasing Sainz with 1 lap to go. This is honestly really tense. Like, I know it's just a video game, but honestly, just sat watching him. Such a good friend. I want him to win.
seconds.
He's getting so close to signs. It's almost unbearable. Just coming up to bite him, but then loses it and doesn't overtake him. However, in the literally last moments, he takes over Carlos and sails across that finish line second. Not first, doesn't get driver of the day, but doesn't matter, comes second. He's done really well here. We're all proud of you here, Ollie. Great race. Great race? Great race. Next up, we have a bit of an interview after this race. I'm just going to be speaking to Ollie, asking him some questions about how he finds it with his new wheel, how the gameplay's different and all that. And also, what happened on lap 26? What was that crash about?
Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I think it has to be Fernando Alonso. He got the strategy spot on and consistently had the pace to come through as well.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing.
Okay, so I just had the pleasure of watching you game for about an hour and a half, which was fun. So I have some questions.
Okay.
First of all, what version were you playing on
When you say version,
of the game? What year?
what year? So it was F1 2022.
Yeah.
Which
Thought it
obviously
might be.
yeah, which wasn't obviously is a year old, but nearly 2 years old. But I do not have F1 23 on my PC, so that's what I was left with.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's what I was left with.
Okay, so
I
another question.
wouldn't actively choose F1 22, just to clear out. I wouldn't choose it.
When you were playing, I noticed the graphics are so, like, even just a year, like, the graphics have just jumped.
I know. It's
So,
horrific.
another question not about the gameplay. You have just purchased a wheel and pedals? Is that what you want to call it?
Yeah, I guess.
Are they, how much different is it to, like, using a controller?
Well, see that I mean, I'm able to actually do it for a lot longer because that was my first ever 50% race. Usually I'm used to like 25 to 30% length races, so you can do it for a lot longer. It's a lot more technical now. I'm able to do a lot more technical. My fingers don't cramp, and you're able to actually race. Instead of just holding a little controller, I guess.
So it sounds like you preferred it. Were you objectively better at the game because you had more control?
I would say right now I am absolutely awful because it's back to square one, figuring out what my limits are with the wheel. Because I knew what my limits were with a controller, and
Yeah.
apparently you're faster with a wheel, so I just need to figure out how I can get faster.
So just talk to me, what stuff have you got control of now that you have the wheel and the pedal? What's different?
The difference is I am able to, well, I used to drive with a lot more assists that I do now. So, for example, I've turned traction control all the way off. So it's very likely I could spin out like I did on lap 24 where I lost the
That
rear
will
end.
be.
Yes.
Yeah, those
Yeah, I
questions will
know,
be
I know.
coming.
Yeah, and so it's really finding the balance between the throttle and also braking, making sure I don't lock up my brakes now. So it is so much more technical, which I'm hoping will actually help for when I ever go karting.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Are you changing the gears manually as well then?
Yeah, there was all manual gears as well.
Oh, that's quite cool actually. They look quite expensive though, so it is a big investment, I'd say.
It is
Right.
well, I have it next to me. It is the G923 Logitech wheel.
If that makes
So
sense to
it's-
anyone.
Yeah, well, it might make sense to a few.
You were cat and mousing with Russell for a bit, but then you just were in first for most of the race. So did you not get bored? Being
No,
in first?
yeah, so that's what I mean when I've never done a 50% race before. In the sense that, I had to dig deep and find a mentality of go brain dead, just do the laps, don't watch the lap counter. So towards the end it got really difficult. But I
Yeah.
started to find a rhythm and started figuring out, okay, so this corner is this gear, and you start finding a rhythm, and you start actually, time starts passing by a little bit quicker, thank God.
But you were leading for so long. I was like, oh, he's got to be bored by now. Like he's like, and everyone was so far behind. I was like, can you what difficulty were you playing on?
I was playing on 80 something, which I was very surprised on the gap I had. I was very surprised.
Yeah, it was
I
like.
don't know if there was some fighting going on in the sort of the lower field that helped me a
Lewis
lot. I don't
Hamilton
know,
DNF'd.
because- Yeah, Lewis Hamilton DNF, but it's like because Russell kept up with me, so it's not exactly
He
like
did.
the AI. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
But then
it was a pleasant surprise.
Because you checked the distance between you and Alonso. It was like, how long was it? It was a while, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
he's just doing time lapse basically at this point.
Yeah, it got into the middle bit where it was time lapse.
So my other question was, so obviously, in real life, tires degrade. Is that effect happening in the game, or is it just it is?
Yeah.
So they're degrading, but can you tell, or is it just that they're just
You can tell. You
they're
can
all
really tell. You can really tell. You start losing more traction. It gets so much more difficult. You obviously get slower. The way it worked was because it was a 50% race. The tire degradation was actually 50% quicker than a standard race.
Okay. Because I noticed before your pit, your lap times you were putting in were like poorer and poorer, and I was like, oh, so is there a level of you can actually feel the degradation? It's not just like.
Oh, you can, but you really can, and you start losing the car quite a bit if you don't have like a strong car, and you just don't want to overdo it.
So then, obviously, in the race, you did one pit stop, hards to mediums. So did you just on the spot? Because you took some damage at one point because you went into a barrier. This was before. This was before the big one.
Yes.
Did you? So yeah, did you just decide then, or did you make your mind up before the race kind of thing?
The strategy idea was I go into the hards to mediums because the one stop's the fastest regardless, and then I went onto the hards first because I thought if I can stay in front ahead, I can control the pace, and if I use up the slower tyre first, I'll have a higher advantage towards the end. Hopefully, that was the hope.
Was it a one stop just because of how short the race? Well, not short, but you did 50% of it, so I'm guessing that's why it was a one stop.
You can do. I could have done a 2-stop, but it just wasn't viable. And as I said, I wasn't sure what my pace was going to be against the AI, so I didn't want to risk it. I really didn't want to risk it.
Out of 10, how hard would you rate the AI? Were they for most of it you were leading, but then you got to a point where there were some close battles, particularly with Russell's AI. Was it difficult?
Can I like do Russell AI against everyone else?
Yeah,
Because
go
those
for
are
it.
kind of two different cans of fish, right? It was, you know, the rest of the grids kind of seemed to sit at sort of like a 7 kind of deal, right? Whereas Russell was like an 8 or 9, where I had to actually like pattern up, make sure I didn't mess up a corner, and just like he did keep me on my toes.
He did, because the last... Actually, to be honest, the last couple of laps, even I was like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, I was genuinely, like, invested in the last couple of laps. So it was, you were leading, and then you went into the pit. Which way did it happen? Either way, you caught up to George. There was a bit of a battle between you and George. And then you pitted, but then you regained. And then you went into a wall quite
Yes.
badly, and you were trying to get out, but you lost your position. What happened? What happened?
As I said about the whole traction assist ordeal, I got very aggressive. Think of it as a Lando Norris in China in real life kind of ordeal in the sprint race, you know, where he's a bit aggressive, lost the rear end, and I just spun at the end of sector 2, which I think brought me down to P5,
Six?
P4.
Oh, P5, P5. It might have been P5, because I know that Ricciardo and Lando then both went in front of you.
And including a Ferrari as well.
Yeah, signs. But you struggled a bit to get out of it. Then you recovered pretty well. You were chasing up to them. You overtook Daniel and Lando in like one sweep, and then George crossed the line.
Come on! Don't just say that, right? It was impressive. Come on. I was so happy with that. There's a grin on my face.
Yeah. There were 2 laps left, and you scraped your way back to second place. I was feeling tense. I'm assuming you were feeling very similar.
I was scared so much, and I really, it turned into a recovery drive so quickly, because I think it happened on lap 24, so I had five racing laps. Really, maybe even less,
Yeah,
like 4.5.
You overtook Sainz so near the end because George had already crossed the line and finished.
It was the sort of penultimate corner at the end of the back straight, where it was kind of a case of the race is over. I want P2. I'm going to get P2. I'm going to send my nose down, and hopefully he doesn't come across in front of me.
I was really impressed. And to be honest, considering this was your first, this is your first race using your wheel. I mean,
first
it's
F1 race, yeah.
Have you practiced with the F2?
No, I've been practicing with World Endurance racing, so different game, different kind of fish, but.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
Formula 1 race, definitely this is the first ordeal.
Well, to be honest, it was pretty impressive. I hate doing races. Oh, I just can't do them. Because I don't like losing, first of all, and I'm very competitive, and also within the first corner I'm in last place, so not that I start near the front anyway, because I suck in qualifying as well.
Well, we can get you on the wheel.
Bro, what if actually that might improve my game, to be honest. What if the
We
wheel
don't
is
know.
just my calling? Watch me become an esports. No, I'm kidding.
Don't blame the wheel. If you blame the wheel, no. Don't even think about it.
Are you frustrated that you didn't win? Because you were leading for a lot of it.
No, because I was not expecting to keep that pole. First off, I didn't think I was going to get pole.
That was impressive. It was your last lap
Yeah.
as well, and it was like,
Exactly.
yeah.
I didn't think I was going to get pole. I didn't think I was going to lead the race for that long. I didn't think, I thought I was going to be bottom step of the podium maybe, and the fact that I did put on a pretty good recovery drive towards the end. So no, I am happy with what I got, and well, I can say no more than I am happy.
Good. Well, we're all proud of you, me especially, because like I pick up the controller and the game crashes. That's how bad I am. Like it's pretty awful. Those are all my questions for you. I hope you enjoyed your interview.
Yeah, I was a bit worried because I didn't know what sort of thing you were going to go for, but no, I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh, thanks.
Well, it was either going to be feed my ego or absolutely shit on me, and let's be
Well,
honest, there's most likely going to be the latter.
I think I did a good mix. Like, I acknowledge that
yeah.
you did well, but also
Yeah,
you went into a wall and cocked it up.
There we go, exactly. But no, I'm be more than happy to do more races and see if I can actually get a win.
Well, cool. Well, that's everything we have for you. We hope you enjoyed this different type of video this week, because obviously no race, but there is a race this weekend. It's Miami, hence why Ollie was racing at Miami. I'm so excited. I don't like the track itself, but the vibes of Miami I love.
Right, yeah, it's quite Fast and Furious vibes, isn't it? A bit.
Oh my god, it so is.
But anyway, hope you all enjoyed.
We will.
And
Yeah.
please, I hope you enjoyed because I did suffer.
Everyone comment how bad he was. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. But
Destroy his
I'm
ego.
okay, well I'm just gonna say bye now because that's just upset me.